How's it going, everyone? My name's Adam, or EposVox, and welcome to my review of the HP MFP M277dw Color LaserJet Pro printer. That is the biggest mouthful of a name. Actually, let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, we're good. This is a color laser printer that's designed for small businesses that HP actually sent me for a sponsored video that I'm working on for them. They're gonna upload it somewhere else, and so if I have that, I'll put that link in the description below if you're interested in seeing it. And if not, I'll just upload it as unlisted or something. But I still wanted to give an actual formal review on the channel as well. So here are my thoughts after a week with this color LaserJet printer. And I'm coming from the HP 8600 Pro, which is an inkjet printer, but it's designed for offices and business needs and things like that I picked up as a floor model when I worked at Staples. And it was a workhorse for me, and yet this has been so much more of a workhorse that I'm actually pretty impressed. Adam EposVox here with the HP Color LaserJet Pro MFP M277dw. This is a color laser printer, and it is a workhorse. As someone who operates a small business from home, I've gone through quite a few all-in-one printers, scanners, copiers, etc. They all just burn out on me because I'm trying to use them way too much. Or if they don't burn out on me, they're just too slow to really keep up with my workflow, and that tends to be what the problem is. This printer, however, the M277dw from HP, is a boss. Not only is it a color laser printer, which is awesome enough already, but it's an all-in-one, and it's a true all-in-one. It prints, obviously, it prints two-sided, it prints 19 pages per minute in black or color, it can scan to your computer, it can scan to a flash drive, it can scan to a smartphone, it can scan to the cloud, it can scan to an email, it can fax, it can copy. It can print from the cloud, it can print from the web, it can print from your USB drive or your smartphone or your tablet. Every device I had that I threw at it, it printed from it flawlessly, and it prints really, really fast. But fast printing is kind of to be expected with a laser printer. What's the true impressive part is how quickly it scans. It can scan all the way up to 600 dpi. I tend to scan around the 200 to 300 range for my receipts and my documents and for making copies and things like that. And it scans super fast and much quieter than previous scanners I've used. Not only does it have the standard flatbed scanning platform, but it also has a 150 sheet input tray for fast feeding documents. And it actually handles this very, very well. Even if there's some slight wrinkles or tears to your paper, it still shoots them through and scans them just like really, really fast. Now, as I mentioned before, this does print 19 pages per minute in both black and color, and this is about what I experienced. It prints very, very fast, and it's really neat to just have this really thick output tray here because I can just tell it to print a bunch of stuff, because I'm always printing like video scripts or contracts I gotta sign or papers I gotta edit, and often I just print them up and QE them up and have them print. And frankly, before, I mainly did that just because I needed to wait on them to actually print because it took so long to print. But with this one, I can just QE them up, and before I even think about it, there's a giant stack of papers here ready for me to go, and can't argue with that. It also does two-sided printing, and it does this in a very nice way. To me, any printer that doesn't require you to manually flip the paper and feed it back through to print two-sided printing is probably pretty good, but this one only takes like a second longer per page to actually do that, because it sends your print out and it does that really, really fast already, and then pulls it back in and prints it back out on the other side. And it's basically as if it were printing two pages instead of taking forever to realign it and feeding it back through and flipping it over and all that jazz. It just out, in, out, and it's done. And that's really easy to set up too, and pretty much all the programs or browsers I was printing from, you literally just have a checkbox for the printer that says print two-sided, and that's all you need to do, which makes it a lot easier. I've set up my email account so I can automatically just scan to emails, or I can scan to the cloud, or I can scan to my flash drive or even my smartphone. And it works really nice. It's actually really convenient if I'm doing a whole lot on my network and my computers and I don't want to pull up the app on my computer. I can actually put my flash drive in there and just tell it to scan to my flash drive and never have to do anything on the computer. I just do everything on the 3-inch touchscreen, and it works really nice. And the touchscreen is really nice as well. The touchscreen is really responsive. It has a bunch of different apps for various things. Like they even have coloring page apps where you can download and print coloring pages and like news reports. And you can scan, fax, and copy, obviously, and it's really responsive. It's fairly snappy for a printer. Setup process took at most 5 minutes to do, which was pretty nice. Normally, they take a little bit longer, frankly, just for running the software. And even older HP printers I've had, the software install time mainly just takes a long time for the software itself to install. And the software for this one just went really, really quick, and we were ready to go to print and scan and copy. And this makes things for operating my business and stuff much, much easier. The printer itself has a standard 250 sheet input tray for normal paper, and then you have another slot above it for manually feeding separate paper in. It has NFC capability to automatically sync to your smartphone or whatever device just by tapping it on there. It has a 3-inch touchscreen for doing most of the controls. Below that, it has a USB port for hooking up a flash drive for both printing and scanning. It can print photos, Microsoft Word documents, PowerPoints. It can print all of that from the USB drive, which is pretty neat. It has a 150 sheet input tray for the scanning. It has a normal flatbed scanner. Along the back, you have a phone line in, phone line out for fax. You have a Ethernet in, and it's actually a gigabit Ethernet in, which is really nice for your networking. And then you have the power connection, as well as USB A to B connection for your standard USB connection. The footprint for this printer is also fairly small. As compared to my previous printer workhorse, which was the HP 8600 Pro, it's actually a bit smaller. It's a bit taller, but lengthwise, widthwise, and just general footprint, it's actually quite a bit smaller, and that's pretty impressive, especially for a laser printer. The toner cartridges are located behind the big front panel, and they're easy to access. It's got a sliding tray that has them all on there, and anybody could do it. A kid could take it out. Often with printers, it's so problematic to finagle the toner cartridges out and stuff. You literally pull the panel off and slide the tray out, and you have all of the toner cartridges. And the printer is also Wi-Fi compatible. I have mine hooked up to a wired network because most of my stuff is wired, but it does have up to wired in connection, so it's going to be really, really fast for sending your documents over. Now, there are some negatives that I need to touch on compared to my 8600 just for my unique environment, given that I have a home office at home, and my parents' bedroom is literally 3 steps right over there behind me, is that it's very, very loud. This is because it's a laser printer. Laser printers are loud. Again, it's kind of meant for an office, but I have a home office, so that, nah. But printing at night is kind of problematic, which I don't often have to do, but if I do, I gotta make sure I'm shutting my door and stuff because it gets quite loud, and that's gonna piss off a lot of people trying to sleep if you have a printer going but it's not as loud as some printers I've seen, and frankly some inkjet printers can be quite loud as well. Scanning is actually very quiet compared to my HP 8600 Pro, which is kind of confusing. It's much taller than my 8600 Pro, which is fine because it's a lot shorter in terms of like length, but it's taller in terms of height, which means opening up here on my shelf, I don't have enough room to really prop it all the way open, which frankly I never really did on any other printer I've used anyway, but it's still a problem for me, is that it's pretty tall. Also, due to it not being as long as the other printer, it actually has a shorter scanning bed than my previous printer. Now granted, everything I scan is pretty much 8.5 by 11 or shorter, so that's fine for me, but something to note nonetheless, as I think the max it goes is legal size. But overall, despite it being sent to me as a sponsored video to do elsewhere for them, I actually really enjoy the printer, and I'm so glad I get to use it because laser printers print really fast and high quality, and I have that just for the hell of it, and that's pretty cool. Funny story, I had been contacted, because this is running through a separate platform, I'd been contacted by the person representing the platform asking if I was interested in working with them on this, and I said sure, and I never really heard back on it after we connected on it, and I was afraid something wasn't working out with it, or they canceled, I don't know, something hadn't happened with it. But when we got back from the GameCon 2015, it was sitting in my living room floor. Because my mom picked us up from the airport and was driving us home, she mentioned that FedEx had left a slip on the door and that there was a giant color laser printer, delivered. And I was just kind of like, did you order a color laser printer? She said, no, it has your name on it. I was just kind of like, what? And I got home and here it was, and that's for that video. But this has been my review, guys. I do hope you enjoy. My name has been Adam or EposVox. Be sure to smash that like button as hard as you can. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome tech videos. Leave a comment down below if you're interested in more printer reviews by any chance. It's really hard to make a printer sound interesting. It prints paper, it scans paper, it copies paper. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and check out links in the description below to all of our other stuff that I always talk about. And roll that end card. No, the end card. Why are you still looking at go?
You've just watched another epic tech video from me, EposVox. Consider crushing that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way you never miss an upload. Also, check the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and hit up our Patreon campaign for early access to videos. See you in the next epic tech video.